Hello. I am so excited today to have a new author that I've just discovered, Michelle Joseph, who's written this amazing book, Words with Michelle. This book should be in every single Canadian school. Michelle, well, I'm going to let her tell you all about the book. But basically, she interviewed Black Canadian changemakers, so contemporary people, and then wrote about them and the gems that they dropped that she learned from. And this book should be for every single young person, not just in the Black community, but everybody. I mean, this is just absolutely amazing. Welcome, Michelle.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. You got me in my feelings. That was really beautiful. Thank you so much. That's so
Well, I
sweet.
read your book and I was just blown away because we have so much in common. But not only that, the lessons that you learned from these people, these incredible people that you interviewed, are lessons for everybody. And they all resonated with me as they did with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
It was because I started my blog. I started as a blogger. So Words with Michelle. That was in 2014. And I'm a writer and I just didn't know where to do it. I couldn't get published anywhere. That's the reason why I started blogging. I couldn't publish, I didn't know how to write a query letter. I mean, I'm a writer, but I couldn't write a query letter. And I just started the blog and I thought I really want to amplify some of the voices of the people that I liked. I mean, like I knew about them, I read about them, but they weren't prevalent. They weren't everywhere. I'm like, these people are amazing. They're doing amazing things. So that's how it
Yes.
started. The blog started everything because then
Okay.
it went into the podcast, and then I just reviewed the conversations I had with them.
That's right, because you are a blogger, an author, a podcast host as well, also called Words with Michelle.
Mhm.
So, what really inspired you to write the book?
There's a lot to do with why I started the book. Um, It was okay. So I lost my brother in 2021, and it was
Sorry.
devastating. And I still feel the pain, but I couldn't do anything. I was off social media, everything. And then I think towards the end of the year, I needed something to put a smile on my face. I mean, I didn't have an idea for the book in 2018, but it was dismissed. So I kind of buried my book. I had the idea and I had some writing. I had some form of a manuscript at that point. I had a draft, but I didn't take it seriously because I'm like, as much as I thought of myself as a writer, I didn't believe in myself at all that I could do it. So I had the idea and then buried it. And then, okay, then my brother passed away. And then I'm like, okay, I need to feel better. So in 2022, I picked it up and I started working on it. But then I put it down because just through life, I just put it down. And then in 2023, I was working on it again. And then I realized I had to have surgery. I found out I had really big fibroids, so larger than most cases. So I had to have surgery, very complicated surgery at that. So I
Mhm.
was scared. I was terrified. I didn't know if I was going to make it just because of how big the fibroids were. It was really, really big. And so when I went in, you just you're hoping for the best. You're thinking, oh my God, I hope I get to see everyone again.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
no, but it's true. It's true.
Yes.
I didn't know what was going to happen. So when I came out and I'm like, I heard all this noise. I heard my other patients around me because I was in what do you call it? Recovery. And I
Mhm.
heard voices. I'm like, oh my God, I made it. So that kind of re-entered, like seriously, it really it changes the way it changes you because you don't know. I mean, like I said, it was complicated. And then, so I was like, oh God, I made it. So I'm like so happy. So it took me like about, I felt good after a couple months. I mean, I felt good coming out after, to be quite honest. It was just the stitches and stuff, like you're just feeling pain. But I felt better. And then when I was feeling a lot better in like the April of 2024, I'm like, I got to do something. I mean, I made it, and first I want to be happy. I felt really stagnant in my life. I wasn't doing nothing. I wasn't accomplishing anything. So I'm like,
Mhm.
let me pick up this book. And my friend actually did ask me, the editor, she asked me, what are you doing with the book? Like, what are you doing? So I
Wow.
decided to, I said, I actually started looking at it. And then I just hired my friend as a business coach. She guided me along the path, and then I published it.
I love
That's
that you mentioned that because so many people see the outcome of the book without realizing how many things sometimes have to take place to get you to the end result. You know, but
yeah, yeah. It
you've
was
been
a
so much.
it was a hard journey before. And it's so funny because now I'm kind of like in la la land. I'm so excited, but it was a hard journey because I dealt with so much throughout this process. Um, I had to put it down so many times. It wasn't. I put it down
Mhm.
like probably 3, 4 times.
Mhm.
Before I got to April 2024 is when I literally said, I can't do it. I'm hiring you, and she is my friend, but she's a business coach too. I'm like, we're not
Mhm.
doing this on a friendship thing. It has to be, you're helping me do this. You're going to keep me in line. And she is a person who can keep me in line.
Mhm.
She's very hard on me. So I'm happy for that. I have to thank her because without that discipline, I would have never had this book. That's just number one. I would have never been that disciplined to complete it. So I thank her all the time. I thank her. I'm indebted to her, to be quite honest. So
A lot of people out there don't realize that for a lot of writers, we hire either life coaches, book coaches, business coaches, just to get it done.
yeah.
So, what really resonated? I'm sure you maybe have your favorite stories about this book, but what really resonated for me is the interview with Jeff A.D. Martin. And it's
Mm.
because, you know why? He says, when you don't step into your power and greatness, it doesn't just have a negative impact on you, but on others too. And you said you never thought about it that way.
That's
And you
right.
talked about the fact that this is a lesson that you're still learning, stepping into your greatness. And this is definitely a lesson that I'm learning. For years, I feel I've lived so small. And then you also talk about in the book how 9 to 5s don't work for you.
Yeah.
They've never worked for me, but the courage to step out into your creativity, knowing that you can. Anyway, I'm not talking. This is about you.
Oh, no, because it's nice hearing, because you get it. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like you got something from the book, and that's all that I want. I want someone to get something from the book, So I love the fact that you say that, right? Because um, yeah, 9 to 5s aren't for me. It's so in my face though, because I'm the one person that everyone knows that had a million jobs in her life. I've had so many jobs. I swear to God, I've worked with everyone in Toronto. If you've worked in the GTA, then I've worked with you at some point in my life because I just keep going back, even though it doesn't work for me. I just keep going back, and then something happens. I'm either getting
Security,
laid.
though, right?
Sorry.
Sorry, something happened. Well, it's security. You feel I'm
Yeah.
getting the paycheck at the end of the week, but you said that something happened. So what happens when you keep going back to the job?
I always get laid off or something. Like I've been laid off twice in my life, and it's just like it's always been contract work. So I had a series of contracts. I never had permanent for the longest time, and
Mhm.
then so it's just like then when you do get permanent, something happens. It's just something always happens. But I realized it wasn't the job; it was me. I wasn't meant to be there. I was never meant to be in any of my jobs. I mean, I was not for a long time. I was there to be for a specific time, and then I had to leave because I do some of my jobs I actually liked. Some of them I did not like, but there were some that I liked. I got friends from my jobs. I loved the my clients. I was an employment counselor, so I took a lot from it. I actually honed my interview skills being an employment counselor
Wow.
because I had to interview my clients. If someone's coming in looking for a job, I got to ask questions. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? And it wasn't just that, it was also on their end. My clients felt very comfortable in my presence. So they would tell me everything. I didn't even have to probe. I never had to probe. They would just lay it out on the line. They would tell me everything because they felt very comfortable. And they would tell me that after they left. They're like, Michelle, I'm so glad I met you. I'm so glad I came into your office today. And I kept hearing this. So I realized, I mean, I liked doing interviews before I started my blog. I liked doing interviews, but I just I realized it resonated more with people. Like people really like my interviews than anything else. I'm like, I'm gonna continue this. And then
Yeah.
plus I like meeting people. So it's just like it's a win-win. Like I like meeting people. I think I'm kind of good at it. It just was fun. It was entertaining. So
what would you tell young people? Because I think about this a lot, how do we help young people to step into their true potential, or anybody, not just young people, but what would you tell someone who is struggling with the same thing? They know they're not meant for the 9 to 5. They have this creative idea,
Mm.
but the blocks are there. The blocks are real.
Yeah, it's hard when you got bills to pay, right? Like it's hard. Like for kids, it's a different conversation with kids. I would want to really encourage kids because I feel like um they need a lot of encouragement because sometimes not that they're being picked on or anything, but sometimes they don't see it because it takes the thing is with writing or doing anything creative, it's such a process. You're not going to do something now and you're now it's going to take off. You
That's it.
got to be disciplined. You got to focus, and you got to believe. And it's so hard to believe. I did a talk at a library in my area, and I did have this conversation with kids, and I said, you even though sometimes you have to not fake believe, but you just have to have some semblance of belief that you can do it. As long as you could believe it, and you also do need a good support system. That's number one. If you have people around you who are really pro what you're doing or really supporting it, it makes it a lot easier. And I will say that for myself because sometimes I didn't really feel supported. Not like my family or friends weren't supporting. It wasn't that, but I kind of maybe because I'm really I'm insecure and I kind of needed a little more, but I had to kind of really, really kind of, um, when I knew that I can write, when I read my stuff and I'm like, oh my God, I like it. It's like, so that made me, at least I had some belief that it was good. I had some belief and you just have to go off of that. You have to
Yeah.
go off of that,
I
know?
think a lot of creative people feel that insecurity. I know I certainly do. You question yourself, you question what you've written, especially if you have ventured from fiction and you're doing blogs or memoir or
Mhm.
poetry.
Yeah.
There's always that feeling of, is this good enough?
Yeah.
I think
I
a
was
lot of us have that.
I struggled with this book because oh my God. At one point I didn't want to put it out. Like last summer was really scary for me. Because it's unknown territory. I never believed I could do this. I mean, I wanted it. So it's
Mm,
the thing is that you want it, but you just don't know how it's going to land. Who's going to like it? Like you just don't like. And I also say, was it cool enough to put this out? Yeah, I actually do. I felt that because I'm like, these change makers are change makers. They're established. They do what they do. And I'm just Michelle Joseph. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm a podcaster. I do this out of my bedroom. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like for me, I felt, I don't know if I'm the person to do this, but then I'm like, yeah, I am the person to do this. I interviewed them. I
mm.
have all this, I have a wealth of interviews. Like I have so many and I know that they liked it. The people that I interviewed, I know they liked the experience they had with me. And I just thought, let me just share this with people because if I'm
Yeah.
going through this, if I need help because they've helped me, then why not share it with everyone? And it's just like it's such a mixture because you get to see the change makers and you get to learn from them and you take out of it what you can because my experience is different, right? My journey was I wanted to to work on my professional and personal life. That's what I wanted to do. So that's why I use the lessons. But I feel like everyone's struggling with something. So take it. Like for instance, Kofi. And I also mentioned this one because it came his quote meant so much more to me after I spoke to him. And his quote was so Kofi Frimpong is an artist, a visual artist here in Toronto. And he said, let the process be the process. That's how he got over his insecurities and fears.
I
And
love.
I think I live that like all the time, but I used it when I was having surgery. Actually,
Mhm,
no, sorry, not when I was having surgery, when I found myself in the ER, when I didn't know what was wrong with me.
mhm.
And I was going through all these different tests and I was scared because I was there alone. Like none of my family and friends were with me. I went alone and the doctor is you're in an emergency, that's it's really
Mhm.
scary. And then they're like, well, you need to take a CT scan. I'm like, what is a CT scan? I'm like, what is it? What on earth is that? And then you just go in and then you're just going through all these different things. And I just remembered at that moment, that's when I heard his voice. And I'm like, all right, let the process be the process and let it be.
I love his story too because I believe he's the one that went from, you wrote, 0 to 100. He didn't take his fear into little baby steps.
Yeah.
Went out there and did the thing that he feared the most in front of hundreds of people, which was painting. But for other people, who are interested, I mean, well, everyone has some little fear. It could be
Yeah,
public, it
exactly.
could be, I don't know, doing math or whatever. But I love the way he just, I don't know, he just did it.
It really was astounding. I'm not gonna lie. Like when he told me that, I'm like, I remember I still have the audio of that interview. So I'm like, what do you mean? Like, say it again. You never painted before, but you did this in front of people. How is that even possible? Like, because that's a huge fear. Because he said he almost failed some courses in school because he just did not paint. He didn't do the assignment. So
Mhm.
you almost failed school to now have an event and now conquering your fear in front of everybody. That in itself is astounding.
It is.
That's amazing. So yeah, that story resonated huge with me. Yeah, a lot.
So there's two things that I just want to get out there before I forget what I want to say. One is that I feel that for Black History Month, um, schools put up the same people, not that they shouldn't. These were, great people, but your book has so many other people, contemporary people,
Yeah.
people of now that could be, displayed on school walls and talked about or invited in. That's the first thing. So I think, this is a great book for the school system. And the second thing is, who for you really resonated, taught you something big, something that you'll remember forever?
From the book, like oh, that's hard to say. I don't even know if I can say it because they all taught me so much, right? I think because a lot of people touch about like fear. There's a lot of people that talk about fear and not coming out of your comfort zone. That would be something that I struggle with because I am a very cautious person. It's so funny. Actually, one of the people that in the book called me cautious, and he said that in the interview, and that was maybe 10 years ago. It was JD Vicious, and he said that to me, not saying it as an insult. But he's like, when I think of you, I think of very cautious, and I remember I did. I'm not saying I took it as an insult, but I thought I'm not sure if I like that. And it's true. Cautious could be good, but I
Mhm.
feel like sometimes you have to come out of your comfort zone though, because the thing is when you conquer that, so many good things come from that, right? So I think throughout the book, anyone who touches upon that coming out of your comfort zone, I would say that resonates the most with me because that's my biggest thing. Like I'm so hesitant. You know what I mean? Like so now I feel I'm a less hesitant because I see what this book has done. It has given me self-esteem. So my confidence is just kind of like, I feel better, because I never in a million years would have thought I would have been talking at schools. B, had a book launch, like being in a book, like in a book signings makes no sense.
Amazing.
So for me, it's like I look at it and I sometimes I sit there and I smile because I'm like, what happened? What is this? This really happened? Is this a dream? Because it doesn't make sense to me sometimes. I'm very happy for it though. I'm very happy and blessed and grateful. Like that is why the person that wrote my forward, um, he was one of my first bosses. I'm talking about when I was a kid. Like I'm talking about when I was very, very young. I asked him to I found him on LinkedIn. I'm like, I want you to write my forward. Because it was originally I thought I would get someone from the book. Because some of the people in the book are my friends. I mean, they are huge change makers, but some of them I know on a personal level. But I'm like, no, it has to be Ellen Schwartz. It has to be this man who was my boss. And I just found him on LinkedIn. I'm like, can you write the forward in my book? And he was dumbfounded. He's just like, I can't, you want me? I'm like, yes, I want you. I want you to do it. You've seen me when I
Amazing.
was like a very, very, very young writer and it wasn't doing anything really, but he saw it. Like he
Yeah.
saw what I could do. And I'm like, I'm grateful to him. I'm very grateful to him.
And you've done a lot. And I'm cautious too. And what really drives me forward, and I know this may sound bizarre, but I will picture myself, and hopefully I'm in my 90s, but I picture myself as a very old woman about to take my last breath.
Uh-huh.
And then I think, as I'm laying there dying, what regrets do I have? or
Wow.
what am I grateful for? So one of those regrets would have been you didn't write your book, or
Mm,
you didn't become the best version of yourself. You had a 9 to 5 forever and you never grew, you never
yeah.
pushed. And to me, that is such a terrifying, um I just can't stand the thought of that. If 9 to 5 is what you want, that's great. If you have a great job, you love it, that's one thing. But if you really want to work in a creative um, area, and you want writing to be a part of your life or whatever art you do, and you never pursue it because of fear, I mean, I don't think there's anything worse than dying and thinking I could
Yeah.
have done.
Yeah.
So for me, that drives me.
That plagued me too, right? Because you do hear about people saying that you don't want your manuscript or your book to be buried with you, and I thought about I thought about that. But the funny thing is, I never knew what I was going to write. That's number one. I did not know what I knew. I wanted to write a book, and that was my. I've always wanted to be a writer in the sense that I had a book, but I didn't know. I didn't know what I was going to write. Like honestly, this book was like a kind of like a gift in the sense that I actually had a lot of my material from my blog. Because remember, I started off as a blogger, so I
Exactly.
had that to work on. I mean, I put my heart and soul into my interviews, though. That was definitely my baby at the time because when I wrote an interview, it. I didn't write it in 2 days. It took me a long time because I perfected it. I put
Mhm.
so much blood, sweat, and tears into my. I wanted to. I just wanted to set the scene of what happened in the interview. You know, it wasn't just a number. They said this, and I asked that. No, I had to finesse it, make it good, make it that you want to read it. You know what I mean? So I loved my interviews. So I had so many of those, and then I had my podcast because I'm a podcaster for 5 years now, and even saying 5 years sounds crazy because I feel like I just started like a year ago or like 2 days ago. So I had that. So I had so much to work with, so it made the trans it made it easier, you know what I mean? Like I still have to go
Yeah,
through everything. I That's the thing, you have to go through everything and
do.
filter it and get all the stuff you need,
It
but
is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. But what made it so important for you to write a book about Black Canadian change makers? Why was that so important?
because I'm a black woman, and I sometimes you see what's happening on TV and you're like, I don't like the negativity. I need to conquer negativity. That's number one. And first of all, it's that, and it's also there's amazing black talent that's happening right now. Like I've been studying these people for like 10, 15 years. Like I've been studying like all most of the excerpts or most of the stories come from 2014, 2015. So that's a decade, right? So I've known about these people over 10 years. Do you know what I mean? So I wanted people to see what's happening. Like you said, when we think about black history, we go back 50, 60, 70 years, and that is fine. Yes, I want to talk about all the my black heroes, but I feel like we have current black heroes. There are people that are doing things that they are so accessible. Anyone
Yes.
can go online and go to Instagram, go to LinkedIn, go to TikTok, YouTube, and you're going to find the people in my book because they're doing it. They're creating history now, and I felt
Yeah.
like they needed a little more spotlighting. I just thought like they are, like Honey Jam has been around for like 30 years, 20 or 30 years. I'm like, that's amazing. Like there's so Dalton Higgins, who's now he's a lecturer at I think it's the Metropolitan University. I think it's where not so I mean, it used to be Ryerson. So TMU. So I'm like all these people are doing amazing things, and I just
Amazing.
happen to have met them and spoken to them. I'm like,
Yeah.
they I feel like kids need to, because kids are so young, they don't know about them. So I'm like, now they have someone to look up to, because also the people in my book are currently creating history and they're going to continue making history. And that's the key. They're going to like some of the people in the book have moved on. Jill Andrew is in the book. And when
Yeah.
I met her at years and years ago, she was not in politics. She was a writer and she got into politics, and we know who knows what else she's going to do. We don't, so I feel like kids could use these change makers as an example. Look at them. Look where they came from. They even, you know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Like they came from the same area you came from. Majority of people I interviewed are from Scarborough, from Rexdale, from where have you. So
It's amazing.
they can see themselves in these change makers. That's number one. They could see themselves in the change makers.
Absolutely. And you're right, they're making history as you are also making history. So it's just a great book. I mean, I recommend not just for Black
Sweet.
history, but as I said, we need to inject the schools with the contemporary change makers. So this is
Yes.
really
Oh,
amazing.
that's so sweet.
What's next for you?
Wow. Uh, I want another book. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like last year was such a transformative year for me. Um, because I felt like I was actually living in purpose. I'm not sure if I was doing it before, and I can honestly say that. Um, I felt like, yeah, I now not that now have a purpose, but I feel like I now have the strength to do what I want to do or do what I can do. I don't think I believed it before. I just thought, oh, I'm a good writer, but I'm not going to do anything. Now I realize that I can do it if you want it. It's if you want it, you can really do anything, because I'm telling you, I continually shock myself. Um, some of the things I've done, it's really shocking. It's mind blowing for me because I'm a very, um, well, I don't know what to say. Not just kind of like, you just don't believe it. You know what I mean? You're just like, oh my God. So for me to do the things that I've done, I'm like, yeah, and I can always do more. So yeah, I would like to have another Words with Michelle book. That I could definitely see myself doing it because I've had so many interviews. Don't know when it's coming out. I also want a personal one too. There's a lot, like I feel like there's a backstory to this book. There's so much that I've gone through and currently going through that, that may land up in a book someday. And I'm not gonna put it. I will put it out there someday. I would like to probably write a movie. Like I've always wanted to get into movies. So if I could be a screenwriter as well, that'd be totally awesome. But those are things down the line. But um, for the moment, yeah, I'm just trying to get the book into schools, like you said. So you actually were in my head because I do feel like this could be part of curriculum because of the subject matter.
Mhm.
Anyone can take anything from this. Anybody can take this. It's not just, like you said, it's not for just Black Canadians. Anyone who needs a
One.
little bit of a push or to say you're okay, because
Yes.
what it is, it's saying that you're okay and you can do what you want to do. That's what the book is
Yes.
about. Like all these people questioned if they were the person, but they found out they were the person to do
They
what they did.
were the person, and you shared so much vulnerability about yourself as you were writing the book, as you were interviewing these people. Sometimes you said you were starstruck when you met them.
I
So
was.
I love that. I love how vulnerable you are, and I think that young people could really learn from that. Whatever they're feeling, it's not that you grow out of that feeling. You just move forward, take action,
Mm.
and you get the results that you want, and then you keep building your confidence, and you've clearly done that with this book. So
Oh, you're so sweet. Honestly, you're so sweet.
I
Yeah, my
like
book
that
is that's
you
my baby right now. That's the newest baby, I suppose.
it's a
Yeah.
good it's a cute baby, it's a good baby. I like that you gave us some slang as well, that I'm
Yeah. Thank
definitely not
you for mentioning
on
it.
a lot of this slang, that's for sure.
I like that you say it because I never talk about it. I feel like that's a huge draw to the book. Like I'm not, because I feel like I got that idea from another friend who actually Mugabe. Mugabe has a book. He's in the Mugabe Bianca is one of the change makers in the book, and I
Yes.
read his book, Dear Philomena, and he had like a glossary, and I like that. So I kind of took a homage to him and used it because I thought some of the things that I say, I don't know if everyone knows what this is, especially if this goes outside of Canada, because I've had some sales in the States. So there's some things are truly Canadian things, and some, like I talk about Carabana. The Carabana is in there, and I use the word Carabana, and so I
Mhm.
actually put in there like what Carabana is, just in case they don't know what it is. Even though it's not really called Caravana anymore, but it'll
Yeah,
always be
but
Caravana.
we all call it caravana.
It's
That's
Caravana. It's
the thing.
Caravana. You know what
Sorry,
I mean?
caravana forever.
Forever and ever. So I have like, like even like, what is it? Like have my book right here, and I like this. I like the glossary because it makes it for me, to be quite honest. Like having oh yeah, like obviously BIPOC and code switching, in case people didn't get it, know what that means, and then yeah, just
I like take an L. Take an
oh take it.
L.
Oh yeah, take an L, take a loss, and I actually spoke to Amanda. It was under Amanda Hamer, and I told her because I had her on my show. We did a catching up with Amanda Hamer, and that was on my podcast. And it wasn't taking a loss, really and truly. It was more so what we thought may have been a loss is not a loss because she was speaking about leaving her job to venture out and do what she's doing now. And that was the best decision she ever made because she's amazing. And I was thinking about the times that I had to, in the book, I think I speak about uh, I think I speak about when I stopped doing radio. I think that's what I was talking about because I was actually on radio as well,
Oh,
college radio that was, and I remember leaving it. And I loved being on radio because it was something I wanted to do when I was younger, and I loved it. It was a talk radio show, and it was before podcasting. Let's say that, like before I became a podcaster, and I liked it so much, but I was kind of getting bored. And it was just the fact it wasn't radio was boring me, but it just what was happening behind the scenes. And I'm like, it's time for me to go. So I thought it was a loss, but I guess it wasn't a loss because I'm using the same skills now as a podcaster.
yeah,
So
that's right.
who knew, right? Who knew? I never knew that was gonna happen. Never knew that.
Sometimes the line, towards success is not linear.
Yeah.
There's a lot of curves and twists, along the way. So where can we find it? Where
Oh,
can
so you
we
can
find
find it at Indigo. It's actually Indigo's on Amazon. And oh, there was a few copies in another bookstore. I think that's what it's called. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, another story bookshop. Actually, I have their bookmark right over there. So another story bookshop. They have it too, but primarily Indigo and Amazon. You can find it there. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being
Oh,
on
thank
today.
you. Thank you for asking me. This was so much fun.
It was fun. I wish you so much success.
Oh,
Looking
thank
forward
you.
to the next Words with Michelle book.
Oh, nice. I'll let
I'll
you know
be,
when I write it. It's in my head. The funny thing about that, I actually have people that I want in the book. Like some of the interviews I did the past couple of years. I know I could see them in the book. I just haven't written the book. Just haven't written it though.
yeah, I know. I know how that goes. I have a book in my head. It's coming. It's
Nice.
coming.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Oh my gosh,
Thank
so
you
much
so
fun. Thank
much,
you.
Michelle. It was great.
It's great meeting you. Oh my god, and I love this chat. This chat was amazing.
Yeah, we have so much in common. It's awesome.
Thanks. Oh my gosh. All
And
right.
thank you for listening. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Take care, Michelle.
You too. Take care. Okay, bye.